M3 workshop. We're going to actually talk to you today about the M3 system and how to really jumpstart your results to transforming your life. Because I've got to tell you that this is one of the best, if not the best, lifestyle system. It's not a diet. I won't call it a diet because diets, the word itself to me means failure, because you're going to do it for a period of time. You might or might not have some success based on what it is you're doing. And then typically we always go right back to our old ways, and we not only gain back the weight that we lost, but we tend to gain back more. And I'm going to speak for myself as a 50-year-old woman. When I got married to my husband 29 years ago, I weighed 118 pounds. When I started the M3 system, I was topping the scale at 176. It's not something that I'm proud of. And I actually hid my weight kind of well. Often people would say, oh, I didn't think that you weighed that much, because I'm pretty muscular. But I did. And what it was a whole lot of yo-yo dieting over the years, where I started out needing to lose 20 pounds and I would lose 10 and gain back 12. And then I would need to lose 20 and I would lose 8 and I'd gain back 15. And that was going on for a series of years for me. And I just began to believe that it was because of my age. I just turned 50, and because of hormonal issues and because my metabolism, and I had all these stories in my head of why. And so when I first learned about M3, I've got to tell you, just like most people, I was skeptical. I was like, okay, prove it to me, show me, because you could tell me a whole lot, but unless I actually see it, I don't believe it. And one person after the next that was joining the system and really taking it seriously to change their life, the results were starting to blow my mind. And I knew that if somebody could do it, if anybody could do it, I could put my mind to it and be successful. And I'll tell you, when I joined and I bought the system, they tell you that you need to take the 3 products, which we're going to talk about, and then you need to at least make 3 out of the 5 lifestyle pledges. So, I went into it initially thinking, well, I'm not giving up sugary drinks. I mean, I don't really drink any sugary drinks, except for every now and again I drink margaritas. And I was like, well, I'm not giving up my margaritas, so we're going to scratch that one off the list. And I picked only 3 of the 5. And when I started, immediately starting the system, I felt better, even though the scale wasn't moving, because of the 3 products that are part of the M3 system. I immediately started to feel better. I started to lose my inflammation and the bloating. And once I felt something going on, even though my scale wasn't moving, then I decided it was time for me to step it up. And so Holly and I were just talking about this last week, where I didn't jump in 1,000%. I jumped in and I have transformed and morphed over now I'm in my 9th week, the 9 weeks that I've been doing the M3 system. So initially I only took 3 pledges. I took that I was going to walk the 7,500 steps. I was going to give up fried foods, and I was going to drink the water. And then reality set in, and I was like, well, I'm already drinking water and I already do the walking. So what we have to do is we have to get super real with ourselves, right? So if there are things on that list of 5 things that you're already doing, if you're already drinking the water, then that shouldn't be one of the 3 things you pick, because that's a given. In order to have results, we're going to have to shock our body a little bit, right? We're going to have to do things differently. So once I started feeling better and I realized that I was really cheating myself out of the 5 pledges, because I wasn't cheating anybody else but myself. Once I realized I was cheating myself out of the pledges, then I got super real. So then it was over the next couple of weeks that I made the commitment that I was all in 1,000%. I wasn't going to skimp out on creating the best version of me I could create. And I chose to do all 5 of the pledges. And I got super serious, because when I tell you that I gave up the white stuff, if you are not reading labels, then you're not really giving up the white stuff. If you're just giving up using what you know to be processed white sugar or processed white flour or white rice, that's not really giving up the white stuff, because in so many of the foods that we eat, those ingredients are hidden. So I became the best ingredient reader ever. And I do not bring into my home any products that have added sugar or added white flour, which means that I'm not buying any processed food. And the weeks after I made those changes of giving up all the white stuff and not drinking any sugary drinks, including not having a margarita on Cinco de Mayo, because I made that commitment to myself, and doing the 7,500 steps a day, and I'm drinking at least, and I've got this huge cup, I don't know if you can see, but I'm drinking at least 8 to 10 of those a day. That's when I started seeing unbelievable transformation in my body. I've got to tell you, what we have our hands on here is better than anything I could have ever imagined. And I'm excited to be going to Atlanta in the next couple of weeks and having the opportunity to meet Greg Horn, the formulator of these products. And I swear I'm just going to give him a big fat kiss right on the cheek, because he has changed my life. So I'm 50 years old. I went from being 118 29 years ago to 176. To be honest with you, I'm not beholden to the scale anymore. When I first started, it was really affecting me psychologically, and I have a 16-year-old daughter. And I'm not willing to make this all about weight, because teenage girls have so many body image issues that I really had to make this all about my health. And once I realized how the inflammation in my body was being reduced and how much healthier I felt, then the conversation just completely shifted for me. And so I don't know. I know I've lost over 20 pounds. I know that I went from wearing a size 12 pants to my size 9s falling off of me. And I have never felt better. When I talk to you about energy, I have people, I read all people's comments and they're like, oh, I'm not feeling energy. Well, if you're sitting on the couch, I'm sorry, Holly, I'll let you get some words in. I'm just so excited. When I'm sitting on the couch, I don't feel like crazy energy. But let me tell you about my exercise routine. So I love exercise. I always have. It hasn't ever allowed me to lose weight. I just did it because I knew it was important. Now I am getting on the treadmill. When I first started 8 weeks ago, I couldn't run for 3 minutes. I was committing to do an hour on the treadmill to get my steps in, and I would walk for 7 minutes and try to run for 3, and I almost needed CPR. Last week, I actually got on the treadmill and I walked for 7, and I started running, and I ran for 30 minutes over a period of 8 weeks. Okay. I ran for 30 minutes, and the only reason I had to stop is because my 50-year-old bladder told me I had to stop. I was afraid I was going to pee my pants. So to make sure it wasn't a fluke, I got back on the treadmill over the weekend, and I walked for 7 minutes, and I was going to try to run for at least 30. And I hit 30, and I said, you know what? I feel like I've got more in me. I don't have to go to the bathroom today. And I ran for 40 minutes. Let me tell you, I have not done that since I was in high school on the soccer team. So when I tell you that this stuff is changing my life, it is changing my life. A woman today posted her results on one of our Facebook pages, and it was staggering. Her results were staggering, but she made a comment that it was an aha moment for me. She said, M3 has helped me to kick my addiction of food. And that's exactly what it has done for me. I mean, I could throw down and eat like any man. Like, you could put a pile of chicken wings in front of me, and I could have an eating contest with my 22-year-old son, and I'd probably have buried him under the table. Because I was a foodie, and I never realized how the ingredients in food caused you to be addicted to eating more of that food. And now that I have completely eliminated white sugar and white flour and white rice from my life, I have zero cravings. I eat for enjoyment, yes, but I really eat more for the nutritional sustainability and the health factors of it. So you guys, what I'm trying to say to you is, we're all coming in this with different mindsets and at different places and our bodies are in different places. Obviously, if you're a 20-year-old kid or a young man, you're going to lose weight more quickly than a 50 or 60-year-old woman. If you've got other health issues and you're taking medication, those things are all going to come into play. But what you have to do is get your mindset right, that you're committing to becoming the very best version of you that you can be, and that you're not going to allow food to run your life. You're not going to allow, these things that got us to where we are right now to keep us stuck. And so if you have to start slowly, I respect that, because I did. But once you start to see the transformation in yourself, I hope that, like I did, each week you'll continue to kick it up a notch. I'm going to turn it over to Holly because I know she's got so much wisdom to share. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you a couple of tools that we have, a shopping guide, a pyramid that shows you which food groups you should be focused on, and just, give you some ideas. But what I want you to understand is there is no real actual meal plan set out for you. You've got freedom and flexibility. So you're going to use these tools that we're going to show you to make the best choices for you. And just because something is right for me doesn't mean it's going to be right for you. Like for me, I had to give up wheat, right? I didn't just give up white flour. I gave up wheat flour because what I noticed is every time I ate wheat, it made me bloated. And when you look at my before and after pictures, you're going to see that there is nothing bloated about my body anymore. So you're going to listen to your body and you're going to make changes through this as you go, and you're going to have to get really in tune with yourself. But what I want you to do now that you've said yes to M3 and locking arms with us, I really want you to make a 90-day commitment to this, because you didn't get to where you are right now in 30 days. So you can't expect for this to be a magic pill or potion. And magically in 30 days, you're going to be where you want to be. You've got to at least make a 90-day commitment. And I say that, and Holly's going to back me up, because in 90 days, this lifestyle will be a habit that you will be able to sustain for the rest of your life and not go back, because it's yo-yo dieting that has destroyed our metabolism. And it's our destroyed metabolism that makes it a little bit more difficult for us to kickstart with such an amazing product like this. So, Holly, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then I'm going to take them through the tools after you're done sharing some wisdom.
Thank you so much, Joan. As we were saying last night, you just touched on earlier our conversation last night. What I said to you is really the truth. I mean, you and I have grown a friendship. I mean, I care about you a lot. I have a lot of respect for you. As a business partner, as a friend. And so to watch, we're on this growth mode, right? So just as business partners, all of us that grow our businesses, we all know that the only thing that stops us is what's between our ears. And it's the same thing here. So, this is another part of our journey, part of our self-growth. So looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? I'm not looking to be, a runway model or the prom queen. It's not the point. The point is that I have to acknowledge and take responsibility for the fact that I let myself go. And then to piggyback on something you touched on, starting slow, that's a big deal, because I feel that, we really have to continue to remind ourselves that we are not on a diet. This is a lifestyle. This is something that is sustainable, something that will give us real, tangible results that we can continue for our lifetime and be able to maintain, feel fantastic, and not really have to give anything up. We're going to have to make some incremental changes here and there, but you're not supposed to be eating, fat-free and eating all these different special things. And I love what you've done, Joan. I've watched you really, go through this metamorphosis of acknowledging where you're not really comfortable, taking responsibility, claiming it, taking photographs of yourself. And these things are very, very uncomfortable. I know for myself, taking these photographs, just having my husband see me in my workout bra and my kids, I was mortified. To think about posting them on the private page, the Facebook page, I was mortified. To go ahead and do it publicly, it took me weeks. And I walked through that with you and Alexandra. I spoke to, I think, Sarah about it, maybe Kathy as well. Not comfortable things, but when you realize that you want to take ownership of your stuff and you want to help other people, you have to put your stuff out in the street, the stuff that is raw and uncomfortable and ugly. So I really, really so appreciate you doing all those things and doing them in a way that we can follow you, follow your leadership, and then to watch you open your heart and your mind to making other changes. So let's just touch on this for a minute. A slow start. I love that. I think that's a great way. I had a conversation with a girlfriend of mine on the phone that's been on the system for about a week now, and she just wanted to kind of touch base on what she's been doing to see if she's doing the right thing. And then just walking her through what we all go through is not being as grateful and as proud of ourselves as we probably should be, because even though I may not be doing the best job I can at working the program, I'm doing a hell of a lot better than another person that's sitting on the couch, or another person that thinks that, it's okay, I'm aging anyway, and this is just part of life and part of, the aging process. I don't believe that to be true. I don't think that we were created and set up to settle and to be mediocre. I think that's death. Accepting mediocrity is just like, I might as well go pick out the box I'm going to be buried in. I don't get that, but I understand that a lot of people do feel that way. So when I'm walking her through this process, I can tell her, listen, okay, I hear you, I understand, I felt the same way, but looking at you, I would love to see you feel more proud of yourself for the changes you've made, for being so conscientious throughout your day in the last week of every choice. That's a lot of fun. And then she was sort of saying that, she felt like she should be eating more diet foods, and I said to her, why? You're not on a diet, this is a lifestyle. So let's walk through, we could have done something better, and let's think of some choices you could have made. But at the end of the day, you know what? It's just like everything else, just like raising children, just like, business partnerships, just like marriage. There's fluctuations, there are cycles that happen, and the same thing here. So recognizing it, trying to make a better choice the following time, not beating ourselves up, and then really like what Joan has been doing really inspired me to make better changes too. What she does and what I try to do to the best of my ability is tap into the community. I mean, we have some incredibly brilliant people in our community that are willing to be forthcoming with the things that they're not thrilled about, with what they consider maybe failures or times in their lives where they're not that proud. And then, feeling like, wow, I'm not alone, that's a biggie. The other thing is taking advantage of people that know a lot. So our good friend Sarah Berkowitz, Sarah is brilliant in so many different ways. She's on this self-growth mode, and it's just completely inspiring. She's been through lots of life things recently. She's been through a tragic loss, but she's chosen to take that and to fire her up to move, to sort of like a little bit of a distraction to help other people. But Sarah has chosen to share her wealth of knowledge with products and ingredients. So she's educating us. So what does Joan do? She now taps into that, right? Joan's a leader, Sarah's a leader, but Joan can tap into that and then say something to me, because she's learned something in this process. Hey, the last thing was agave. So Sarah shared her knowledge on how she feels about this particular sweetener agave. Doesn't mean I have to make the change, no. But you know what? I happen to like and respect Sarah. I happen to like and respect Joan. Now, there's other people in this community we may never meet, but these are people that it's very likely that we can trust them. Why? Because they have the same mindset. They're vulnerable. They want to change. They want to grow. And those are people that I want to speak to. Those are people I want to listen to. So if I go and take advice from someone that is not in the same place, or someone that's not willing to be transparent and be open or show their photographs of themselves, I feel a little bit less comfortable. I'd rather stay within that community. I just want to touch on something that Joan said about working out as well. So when I started the M3 program, the suggested exercise really is at minimum 7,500 steps a day. I happen to be kind of type A and a little bit, OCD-ish, so it's kind of difficult for me to dial things back. When I first started the program, I was about a month into going to a personal trainer. I was working out pretty hard, very similar to a way that a guy would work out, calisthenics and things like that, lots of push-ups and, strength, gaining strength and things like that. And what I realized pretty quickly was that again, piggybacking on something Joan said with the scale, I wasn't getting, scale results that I was hoping for. I did drop a couple of pounds pretty quickly as soon as I started M3, but I realized that the closer I stick to not doing what my brain tells me to do, my OCD, type A nonsense, if I can lighten up a little bit and eat more of a Mediterranean-based diet as they suggest, I am not a product formulator. I am not a brander. I have not been the CEO of a huge, um, supplement organization or a brand. I don't have that knowledge, so I may want to think to myself, I should probably defer to some of the things that someone who has done that suggests. So I did dial that back, and that's when I definitely started seeing more results, some more, weight loss on the scale, and then some more fat loss on my body too, and some more body changes. So I just want to say that if you're feeling that, you really need to cut calories, I have to tell you, for me, food journaling is very, very helpful because I think some of us tend to undereat, some of us tend to not eat as much protein as we should. And then sometimes we can also overeat. We can eat, 4,000 calories of olives just because it's Greek or Mediterranean based.
Well, Holly,
So,
especially people with young kids, right? Especially people with young kids, when you're making your kids meals or you're making your kids snacks. I think it was Wendy. She's on the call. I could see there's an acronym that she used the other day about every time you like lick the spoon or taste something and all those extra calories of things that you might not include in your food plan that are going into your mouth. So it's really important to be conscientious of it.
yeah, I agree. So again, so I feel that, there's a lot of, learning curve to a lot of this. I think somewhere in between being a complete lunatic and, counting every sunflower seed I put in my mouth, that's just absurd. And to me, that's a diet. That's not something that I can sustain or something that is really a healthy, emotionally healthy way of looking at life and something that's sustainable. I don't believe that is. It could be for some people. I don't think that it is for most people. And it's certainly not something we should be duplicating. I think we should lighten up a little bit and do the suggested exercise. If you're a runner or if you're working out in the gym, by all means continue that. I wouldn't suggest starting something that stringent really, really early on. I think a gentle approach, small incremental changes, really getting an idea, using the Mediterranean lifestyle guide, using those suggestions. And then as we start to get closer to our goals, really starting to get a better idea of, okay, what am I actually eating? How much of this am I actually eating? But gently, you're already feeling better. You've got more energy. You're doing your steps. You're getting rid of that inflammation. I mean, would you agree with that, Joan?
Absolutely. And you guys, I want to take them through the food pyramid and a shopping list, to give people a place to start because the program, it is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. They're not telling you that you need to eat XYZ for breakfast, lunch, and dinner or not eat and just drink their shakes. I mean, this is really to fit into your lifestyle. So you're going to pick the things that are right for you and your family, and that's what you're going to do. But the important thing is how that we are eating enough, because I'm going to tell you, I was the person who I didn't eat breakfast. I had 2 cups of coffee and I was on the go. And I might not even stop for lunch, but then at dinner, forget it. I would eat like there was nobody's business. And then at night I would snack on my bowl of ice cream or whatever it was that I wanted to snack on. So my metabolism when starting this was less than 0. It was less than 0. So I was starting at a place, I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. I was starting at a place where, I had to spend some time getting my body working for me again. And so I just want to encourage everybody who's listening to this now and everybody who listens to this replay that you have some patience with yourself. And like I said earlier, you didn't get here in 30 days. For me, that change happened in over 29 years gradually. So I had to be okay with that I wasn't going to go from where I was to where I wanted to be in 30 days. Although I was watching some people lose significant weight. Think about this. If you're somebody who eats McDonald's regularly and you drink a lot of soda and you really have a lot of fried food, then as soon as you cut those things out, those people are going to see fairly fast results. I wasn't one of those people. I was eating fairly healthy with the exception of my ice cream, but even that was organic. So, I mean, I was eating fairly healthy. So the changes I made were not quite as drastic. And again, I was at a place where I was having to get my metabolism from being dead to working again. So, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to try to share with you really quickly. Let me,
While you're doing that, I want to just say one quick thing too. You know, those quick results, and I'm thrilled for everybody. I really am genuinely thrilled. That's what I love so much about the community. Is we really are genuinely happy. But the truth is that when people are consuming all of those things, those sugary drinks or diet drinks or these things, the amount of fluid retention is incredible. I mean, so people that lose a lot of weight really quickly, it's a lot of that is fluid too. So if you're not consuming those kinds of things when you start, it's not very likely you're going to drop that kind of weight that quickly, you know, scale kind of weight. And if you do, a lot of that is fluid, and it's necessary to purge, you know, early on. So I just wanted to touch on that too.
yeah. So I think most of the people that are hopping on this call, they're already on the system. But for those who might listen afterwards that are not, the three products that you're going to take in the morning, you start with Slim, which is a thermogenic product. It puts your body into a state of thermogenesis, which is fat burning. I yesterday added 3 videos to our Facebook page that is Greg Horn explaining each one of these products. He takes about 30 minutes on each one of them. If you haven't listened, I absolutely would do that immediately, because you're going to learn that there is absolutely positively nothing harmful to you or your body in the products, and they are sustainable to do for a period of time. It's not like a lot of diet products where it ends up creating health problems or health risks for you over time. So the 3 thermogenic pills, the Slim pills with a healthy breakfast. Somebody today posted that they were eating Special K. I'm sorry, if that's what you're eating for breakfast, I want you to grab the box and look at the ingredients. If you're eating something that has so many ingredients in it, and sugar or flour or wheat being one of those main ingredients, you're going to want to make a shift in that you're purchasing. Okay. And you can buy healthier versions of something, and it doesn't have to cost you a whole lot more. So 3 Slim pills with a healthy breakfast. My healthy breakfast typically consists of 2 eggs on a piece of Ezekiel toast. It's the only bread I'm eating now is Ezekiel, and with some mashed avocado. Love it. It puts me in a happy place. It starts my day off right. Oftentimes, if that's not my choice, I buy plain Greek yogurt, which tastes a lot like sour cream, I know. I put some organic honey in it to sweeten it with a handful of blueberries, and I buy the Ezekiel granola, which is kind of tasteless, so I put like a splash more honey on top, but it gives me satiety. I feel full, and I've got energy to start my day. Then in the afternoon, I have a healthy lunch. I typically have a salad with grilled chicken on it, or, you know, chicken or fish with a vegetable. You know, you're going to have a list that you can choose from. And then 2 hours after lunch, I have my Flourish shake. For all of you who are telling me on Facebook that it's disgusting, I can't drink it, you know what? It is the best tasting pea protein shake I have ever had. And no, it does not taste like a McDonald's milkshake, but McDonald's milkshakes are what put us in this situation. I have no patience for people that tell me they don't like the taste of it. If you don't like it by itself in water, throw some frozen blueberries in it. You know, you could do a lot of different things. If you don't like berries in it, you can put a little bit of PB2 to give it a peanut butter taste. But get real. This is one of the healthiest pea proteins out there. There is not one harmful ingredient. It makes you feel full. It reduces cravings. It's absolutely an amazing product. So if taste is the issue, find a way to make it work for you. Everybody can find a way to make it work. So then I have my dinner meal, and 20 minutes before my dinner meal, when I first started, I should say 20 minutes before my dinner meal, I was having the sink, and I just mixed it in cold water, drank it down 20 minutes before dinner, and it gave me that feeling of satiety, of fullness. And so my portion, because dinner was my biggest meal, was cut in half. Now that I've been doing this, I'm in my 9th week, my appetite has really been reduced. I use the sink, and I know, Holly, you do this too, as a dessert, like as a treat at the end of the day, like around 8 o'clock or so. There's a product out there called Khalifa coffee almond milk. It's called Khalifa Black and White. It has no sugar. It's just coffee and almond milk, and I make ice cubes out of it. And I take 3 of those coffee cubes and I put them in the water and sink, and I make this little frappe for myself at 8 o'clock. My next commitment to myself is that I do not eat from 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. I give my body 12 hours of nothing. That's something that Greg Horn recommended that he does. So that's how the system works. And then on this food guide, and if you go to shiftingretail.com, this is there. It gives you a list of what you want to buy. So it says right here, whole grain pasta. Whole wheat pasta doesn't work for me. It might work for somebody else. Wheat makes me feel bloated and distended. And oftentimes, if you're not eating organic whole wheat, there's so many chemicals in the product that too can have an effect on your weight loss. So you take a look at the food guide here. Then they give you some suggestions for meals that you could make for yourself. Again, this is on, if you're just a customer, it's on shiftingretail.com. If you have not joined yet, you're going to want to get the member number of the customer who shared this with you, so that if you decide to join, you use their member number, because it's important for us all to be linked together so that we can be a support group for one another. So there are breakfast suggestions, there are lunch suggestions, and there are dinner suggestions. And then they even give you snack suggestions. So one of the things that I missed is between my breakfast and my lunch, I have a snack. So I'm eating 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. My morning snack typically will consist of just a handful of almonds. I like to keep it simple. Because the Flourish, the protein shake, there's only enough for 5 a week instead of 7. On the 2 days that I don't do that, I'll typically have some hummus with some vegetables as my snack, but I'm having 3 meals and 2 snacks every day, because that's what I needed to jumpstart my metabolism, because my metabolism was at 0 because I was never eating enough throughout the day. So then it just talks about some key components of the Mediterranean lifestyle. And then I also want to share with you really quickly, let me go back and share on our Facebook page. We have a shopping list. This is a little bit different than the one that I have posted, because that one was hard to read. So I'm going to post this one. It gives you just a whole list of different things, options that you can choose from when you go to the grocery store. Again, it's not a diet, so it's not telling you exactly what to eat on the M3 system. So I'm going to give you some options that you can pick from, and I'll post this today. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is the food pyramid. And this is also posted on our Facebook page. So meats and sweets, you want to have very little. You can see based on the size of the block that it's in, meats and sweets, very little. A little bit more on the poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt. A little bit more on the fish and seafood. I'm eating mostly salmon just because I know how healthy that is. And for those of you who have Costco, I buy the wild caught frozen pieces of salmon. They're delicious. It's simple to cook. It's easy for me to do for lunch or dinner. And then you see the Mediterranean lifestyle is comprised mostly of fruits and vegetables. When you listen to Greg Horn speak on those 3 videos I posted, he talks a lot about other ways you can get protein. And I did not know that broccoli had so much flippin' protein in it. So you really need to go back and listen to him because he is the expert. And then be physical. You guys, that's 7,500 steps a day. It's not a joke. I mean, I've really stepped it up a bit. My commitment to myself is 10,000 steps a day. And guess what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it with ease, and I feel great. And Holly will tell you there are nights where at 9 o'clock at night, I'm not there. And I put on my walking shoes and I just go walking my neighborhood, and it's dark and I get scared. So I'll call her sometimes just to be on the phone with me. But the most beautiful thing about this whole thing is that we are a community of people that are doing this together. And if you need a support system, we're here for you. All you ever have to do is reach out and you're going to get some help. And if you feel frustrated, that's okay, because we've all felt it. We've all felt that frustration. But it's really important that you get super real with yourself. And instead of posting, this doesn't work for me, I'm not losing anything, you need to really take a look at what you're doing. And are you doing everything that we've talked about? And also have patience, because it's going to take some time. For those of you who have a sweet tooth, I have not given up my sweet tooth. I've modified. I have made chocolate pudding from avocados. Thank you, Sarah Berkowitz, for the recipe. She also gave me a recipe for whole grain apple waffles. I had them for dinner last night with organic maple syrup. I'm eating real food that is freaking amazing, and I'm dropping inches and pounds like it's nobody's business because of the way the products and the lifestyle choices I'm making are working together. So if you have any questions, we're at 12:38. I was trying to keep it to 30 minutes, but I could talk on this all day long. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand, or you could also type in a question, and I'm going to look and see if we have any typed questions. We don't. But if you don't know, and if you're not sure, you have to get comfortable with asking. And the most important thing you can do for yourself is get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you, posting those before pictures did not feel good. It did not feel good to me at all. It hurt. I was sad. I was frustrated with myself. I was thinking, for somebody who's as smart as you are, how could you have let yourself go like this? But you know what? Getting healthy was so much more important to me than my ego getting in my way. And when I heard Greg Horn talk about the heart issues that come with belly fat, I knew it was time for me to just embrace this and just do it. And that's what I did. And I'm telling you, I have not felt this good. I don't ever remember feeling this good, but if I did, it was back in my 20s. I had so much energy. I'm sleeping better. I'm happy. I said this to Holly the other day, and to Alexandra both, and Wendy and I have talked about it because Wendy's on this call. I feel like it's rewired my brain, and I am definitely happier. I'm happier all the time. Even when I'm stressed, I'm happier than I was. So I'm encouraging you to lock arms with us. As customers, there's a way for you to earn your products for free by just sharing with the people in your life that you love. And we're all here and available to help you have that conversation. And just reach out. We're here to help, because there's nothing more important to me than making a difference in the world and in people's lives. So, Hal, any last words?
Yeah, well, I just want to say, another reminder about the scale. That little box made in China that we bought in Bed Bath & Beyond does not define us, guys. I just saw another story and that M3 page of a woman whose scale didn't budge at all, but lost 13 inches off of her body in 30 days, and her scale stayed exactly the same. So let's acknowledge our body types. If you're more muscular, Alexandra's got a different body type. Her legs are all muscle. My body type is different than someone else's, so is Joan. So please just be grateful for what you have. Be grateful that you're even acknowledging that you don't want to be where you're at, that you want to move forward. And don't worry about that scale. Make sure you take measurements and photographs, and continue to push the ball down the field. Keep just doing it, and eventually you will be where you want to be.
Definitely. Amen. Measurements and photographs are imperative, because you're going to be more blown away by the inches initially than the number on the scale, I promise you. So you guys, please connect in our Facebook page, ask questions, share inspiration. If you come up with any great recipe ideas, I'm sharing them there. We want you to share yours also. And have an amazing day.
Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joan.